I've always been a fan of cyberpunk aesthetics, and the genre in general. Some examples of cyberpunk are Cyberpunk 2077, Blade Runner, Katana Zero, System Shock, Ghost Runner, and the main point of this video, Stray. I played and finished Stray in 2 days about a month ago, and it was fun. I even voted it as Game of the Year because funny cat game. But yeah, I liked it a lot. One thing I liked about the game, besides the obvious cat, was the atmosphere. Stray takes a lot of things from the cyberpunk genre, and just looking at the street should make that point obvious, but I want to talk more about it and just what it takes from the cyberpunk genre. The most obvious thing that can be seen is the Eastern influence that can be found in almost all cyberpunk media, and by Eastern I mean mostly Japan or China. We can see this in Stray due to the classic signs of Eastern cyberpunk influence. Neon signs and noodle shops are the most obvious one, with neon signs containing writing that is more similar to Eastern languages than Western languages. But there are also other signs of Eastern influence, like the traditional lights. I don't know what they are called, but I think they were called paper lanterns. Lastly, I'm not sure about this one, but awnings may count towards this theme. I'm saying this because we also see these styles of awnings on narrow roads in other cyberpunk media. Another thing that can be seen in the cyberpunk genre, and unfortunately our real world, is the very noticeable class separation. If you look at the slums and then look at Midtown, there's a night and day difference. The slums are filled with trash and the buildings somehow look even worse. Also, in the slums you can see the smog that has filled the lower layers of the bunker because of the pollution produced by the upper layers. The only thing that has been taken out is the crime from the lower layers and the corruption from the upper layers, but you know, it's not an M4 mature game, it's Stray. One cyberpunk theme that I unfortunately haven't seen in a lot of cyberpunk games and movies is the abandoned city trope, which in my opinion is something that fits perfectly with the cyberpunk genre, and more media should cover it since the only cyberpunk movie I've seen that has this trope is Blade Runner 2049 with its sand-covered Las Vegas. Seriously though, I'm going to break off from the video here because I just have to say how beautiful this all looks. The orange haze here is just perfect. However, Stray's abandoned cities aren't exactly like this, though they do share some things, like the mystery aspect of what happened here, since in the first few chapters of Stray you really don't know what has happened for the people that once lived here to abandon this place. Stray's abandoned cities also show what would happen if cities were to be left to nature, since you can see that every part of these abandoned cities are overgrown, which has always been interesting to me. Just seeing a city covered with plants after humans have stopped living there is beautiful, and I'm sure this is a sentiment that many people share. The last theme I'm going to be talking about is the classic oppressive government. I seriously don't get how they managed to fit this theme into Stray, but they somehow managed it. The first telltale sign of this theme is obviously over-surveillance, which can be seen in the Midtown portion of the game, with sentries patrolling everywhere, especially in the second part of the Midtown chapter. Another thing we can see that counts towards this theme is the government's brutal acts on prisoners. This can be seen right at the beginning of the prison chapter. In conclusion, the cyberpunk themes I personally noticed in Stray are the traditional Eastern influence, class separation, the abandoned city trope, and finally the oppressive government. I know this video was short, but I had fun making it. If you enjoyed it, I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe. Goodbye.